All right, guys. So today is Monday. We just talked about how Thursday is Veterans Day, so there will be no school on Thursday. So if you already printed out our schedule, it's going to be incorrect. So you can just cross out everything for Thursday, and then I'll review with you guys. Basically, we're just going to be moving some of the things to either Wednesday or to Friday, and then some things we'll take out. Like we're not going to do our CRC this week then. Okay. So today is Monday. We're going to be doing our essential question, our vocabulary, reading eagles and eaglets. Oh, wait, actually, I don't think it is eagles and eaglets. I think we're doing a poem. And then we'll be doing math today. We're starting a new topic. And then we got science as well. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. You guys can take out your little book. That is going to be your reading, writing workshop book. Actually, let me get to it from the way you guys know. And then if you don't have your books, you guys can always read these online by going to Google Classroom, clicking on the waffle, clicking on Wonders, going to McGraw-Hill Education. And then we're reading Cats and Kittens today. That's what the story is called. So let me change that too. The page numbers should be right. So let's see, we should be on page 162. There we go.
Weekly concept, animals in poems. Essential question, what do we love about animals? Animal fun. Animals are fun to play with. This dolphin is large, wet, and makes whistling sounds. We can use sensory words to describe animals. We can describe how an animal looks, feels, sounds, and smells. We can tell how animals behave and express themselves. Talk about it. Use sensory words to talk with a partner about an animal you like. Write your ideas on the web.
All right, we're going to move on to our vocabulary. Now, this week is very different. This week, we have 4 vocabulary words, and then we have 4 poetry words. Okay, so we are going to be learning all about poems. This is the end of Unit 2. So there are going to be vocabulary words, and then there's going to be words that you're going to need to know in order to understand poetry. So let's go ahead and review your vocabulary words to know. And you're going to notice that when you click on words to know, it's only going to give you those 4 vocabulary words. Here they are: behave, flapping, express, and feathers.
Behave. The boy is teaching the dog to behave. Behave. When you behave, you act in a way that is good or correct. The boy is teaching the dog to behave. How do you behave when you are in the library?
You would behave quietly, you would be appropriate, you would not be too loud, maybe you wouldn't eat in there.
Flapping. The bird was flapping its wings quickly. Flapping. If something is flapping, it is moving up and down. Flapping. If something is flapping, it is moving up and down. The bird was flapping its wings quickly. Describe what flapping is.
Express. This baby is smiling to express how he feels. Express. When you express your feelings, you tell or show how you feel about something. This baby is smiling to express how he feels. How do you express your feelings?
And we just learned about expressing our feelings from Mojo.
Feathers. A peacock is covered in colorful feathers. Feathers. Feathers are the soft things that cover a bird's body. Feathers. Feathers are the soft things that cover a bird's body. A peacock is covered in colorful feathers. Where else have you seen feathers?
All right. And then what we're going to do now is I actually want
to know.
sorry. I actually want to show you guys a little video. So to find that video, I have to actually go back. And it's just like a 1-minute video of what we're going to be learning today.
Animals in poems. What do we love about animals? There are many things to love about animals. Dolphins have smooth, slippery skin. They look like fish, but they are mammals, like us. There is not much that is smooth or slippery about this turtle that Jay is observing at nature camp. Turtles have scaly skin and hard shells. These shells are their homes, and turtles carry them around on their backs. This baby goat at a petting zoo is happy to nibble on some tasty grass, while Taylor gently pets its soft, silky hair. Petting zoos are great places to get closer to some of the animals that we love.
All right. Okay, let's go ahead and look at poetry now. Now, we've gone over behave, flapping, express, and feathers. Poetry words. A poem is a form of writing that expresses imagination or feelings. So a poem is different from a story because it's going to be expressing imagination or feelings. Poems are also different than stories because it might not actually have like a beginning, a middle, and an end. It might not necessarily have characters and settings. And then usually we know poems are usually much shorter than stories, as you'll see in the poems that we're going to be reading. And then a lot of times poems have something that is called rhyme or rhythm. And so let's go over rhyme. Rhyme is when two words rhyme, they have the same ending sounds. So what words could a poet use to rhyme with cat, bat, mat, sat, hat? Those are all words that rhyme with cat. Okay. So for example, in a poem, you might say, oh, like roses are red, violets are blue, sugar is sweet, and so are you. What are the two words that rhyme? Blue and you. Okay. So poems usually have rhyming, not always though. Sometimes that they're called what you'll learn about is free verse, which means that they don't rhyme. Rhythm is the repeating accents or beats in a poem. Why would a poet want a poem to have rhythm? Because they want it to sound, when people write poems, they want them to have some type of rhythm, some type of like beat. And a lot of times, a lot of poems can be turned into raps. So if you guys have ever heard like a rap song or a rapper, a lot of what they write are like poetry. Okay, so like right now I did the roses are red one. Roses are red, violets are blue, sugar is sweet, and so are you. Or you can even read it slower. Roses are red, violets are blue, sugar is sweet, and so are you. Okay, it has like a beat to it. Word choice. Word choice is the use of rich, colorful, exact words. What exact word could you use to describe how you feel right now? And so you would use words like Mojo was feeling very upset and angry, and then he was feeling very lucky and happy and grateful. So let's go ahead and read our story, Cats and Kittens.
Genre, poetry, cats and kittens. Essential question. What do we love about animals? Read how poets describe animals they love.
And then you'll see that this is going to be a poem that not only has rhythm, but it also has rhyme.
Cats and kittens express their views with hisses, purrs, and little mews. Instead of taking baths like me, they use their tongues quite handily. I wonder what my mom would say if I tried cleaning up that way. They stay as still can be, until a mouse they chance to see, and then in one great flash of fur, they pounce on a toy with a purr. By Constance Kermes.
So you're going to hear that rhythm, and then you'll see those rhyme words. Views and muse. Me, handily. Say and weigh. Be and see. Fur and purr. Now, we want to read it with rhythm. Cats and kittens express their views with hisses, purrs, and little mews. If you just read it without the rhythm, it doesn't sound as nice. Cats and kittens express their views with hisses, purrs, and little mews. Instead of taking baths like me, they use their tongues quite handily. I wonder what my mom would say if I tried cleaning up that way. They stay as still can be until a mouse they chance to see, and then in one great flash of fur, they pounce on a toy with a purr. It doesn't sound as good. You want to have that rhythm. Cats and kittens express their views with hisses, purrs, and little mews. Instead of taking baths like me, they use their tongues quite handily. I wonder what my mom would say if I tried cleaning up that way. They stay as still can be until a mouse they chance to see. And then in one great flash of fur, they pounce on a toy with a purr. All right, guys, next we're going to be reading Desert Camels and A Bat Is Not a Bird, and then that is it. And then we'll do the next part tomorrow.
Desert camels. Camels have a hump on their backs to carry people and their sacks. They're very strong, don't mind the sun, won't stop for drinks until they're done. They give people a bouncy ride, they sway and move from side to side. I'd like a camel for a pet, but haven't asked my mother yet. By Martine Wren.
And then here's that rhyming again. Backs and sacks, sun and done, ride and side, pet and yet. And then they still have that rhythm that they're reading.
A bat is not a bird. A bat has neither feathers nor beak. He does not chirp, just gives a shriek. He flies by hearing sounds like pings, flapping his leathery wings. At night when I'm asleep in my bed, he gets to fly around instead. By Trevor Reynolds.
Beak and shriek, pings and wings, bed and instead. All right, guys, we're going to be going over more poetry this week. But for today, let's go ahead and do our Your Turn practice workbook, and then we're going to do our 5 things. So everybody go ahead and show me your Turn practice workbook. If you don't have it, you are going to go to Google Classroom, click on classwork, scroll down to ELA, and then open it up right here, Your Turn practice workbook pages, and open that up in Kami. All right, so we're on page 91 and 92, okay? So you're gonna notice that they're not gonna be testing us on our poetry words, just on our vocabulary words, okay? Use what you know about the words in the sentences to choose the word that makes sense in each blank, then write the word, okay? So we're on page 92. I'm sorry, why is this not working? Right here. We're on page 91. Okay, the crow has black blank. Can you guys type it in the chat? The crow has black. Very good, Ray. Feathers. So you guys are going to write feathers for number 1. you should be writing this in Cami or writing this in your books. You don't have to write this on Cami. You can actually type it by clicking on the text box. Okay, so I'm going to cross out feathers. Next one, the bird is able to fly by blanking its wings. Very good, Ray and Ava, flapping. So you can click on the text box and then just write in the word, flapping. Okay, the next word. The children blink by following the classroom rules. Very good, behave. Very good, guys. And then the last one, we only have one word left, which is express, so let's make sure it makes sense. I express myself by writing in a journal. Yes, it does make sense. So let's go ahead and write that down. Express. Okay, now the last part says, choose one vocabulary word from the box above. Write the word in a sentence on your own. So go ahead and I'm going to actually call on one of you guys in class. All right, so choose one vocabulary word from the box above. So I heard a couple. We had Danica share, the bird was flapping its wings. And then we had Ava share, I have to behave when my parents are away. So they're both awesome. I'm gonna do the bird was flapping its wings. I can fly by flapping my wings. Very good. Or their wings. The bird was flapping their wings. All right, let's continue on now. Now we're working on 3-letter blends for SCR, which makes the skr sound, SPR, which makes the spr sound, SPL, which makes the spl sound, STR, which makes the str sound, SHR, that makes the sh sound, and THR, which makes the th sound, okay? Or tr sound, depending on what you're saying. So listen to the beginning sound in scrap, 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 or split, split, split. Look at the picture and write the missing word for each word. I'm sorry, the missing blend for each word. So number 1, it is very good, Lucas. Thank you, Russell. This one is going to be called a throne. So that's going to make the thr sound. You don't hear the T, the T in throne. Because of the T and the H and the R, it's going to make the thr sound in throne, throne. THR. Okay, number 2, that little boy is splashing in the water. So that's going to make the blend spl sound that you hear in splash. Number 3, this person is scrubbing the pan. Scrubbing makes the scr sound, scrub. Number 4, spring. This is a spring, spring, SPR. Number 5, this is a strap. That's the strap of the bag because it's pointing at this part. Strap. And number 5, this is called a shrub. A shrub. All right, next up, we've got compound words. A compound, shrub, shrub. A compound word is made up of 2 smaller words. Circle each compound word, then write 2 smaller words that make it up. So we've got beaches and bedspread. Which of these words is a compound word? It's made up of 2 smaller words, kind of like rainbow. Rainbow is made up of the word rain and bow. Very good, Ray. Bedspread. And the two words that it's made up of are bed and spread. And then don't forget, if you're writing this on Cami, you don't need to write it like this. You can actually use the text box. I'll show you that, okay? Wishbone or wonder, which of those is a compound word? Which one is made up of two smaller words? Very good, Ava, wishbone. And then the last one, springtime. Which one of those is a compound, or spotted? I just gave you the answer, springtime. Those two are compound words because they're made up of two smaller words. Wishbone is made up of wish and bone. And then springtime is made up of spring and time. All right, guys. Go ahead and finish that up. And then we're going to move on to our 5 things. We're going to move on to our 5 things. So if you need more time on this, you're going to watch this on YouTube and pause the video. All right. The 5 things we have today is your spelling practice test, your vocabulary practice test, your grammar game, your mechanics game, and words to know. Don't forget, your spelling words will always have 15 words, and it will always say SP, which stands for spelling. Now, because of the time, because we only have about 15 more minutes, I am going to move by
Get
these.
ready for the test. Don't peek at your list. Begin.
Scratch,
We had to scratch the ball game due to rain.
Scratch,
scrape,
She'll bandage a scrape on your knee.
scrape,
spring,
New leaves and flowers begin to appear as winter becomes spring.
spring,
throne,
The king sits on a golden throne.
throne,
stripe. Skunks have a stripe down their backs.
and these are all 3-letter blends until the end. Stripe,
Strange,
A blue tree would look odd and strange.
strange,
shred,
I will shred the cabbage for coleslaw.
shred,
Shrub.
I planted a small shrub or bush in my yard.
shrub,
splash,
I splash water with my feet while swimming.
splash,
split,
She did a split after stretching her legs.
split.
catch,
I throw the ball and you catch it.
And I believe these are from last week. Catch,
sting,
The bees will sting you painfully if roused.
sting,
Far.
I ride the bus as I live far from school.
far.
flower,
My favorite flower is a yellow daisy.
And these are words that we want you to know how to spell. These are your, I believe these are your high frequency words.
until,
He waited until the doctor called him.
Check your words. You got 15 out of 15 on your first try. That's 100%.
All right, now we're going to do our vocabulary practice test. And then don't forget, your vocabulary words will always say vocabulary, and then you have to take a vocabulary test. Some of you are still taking the wrong test. You need to take a vocabulary test with your vocabulary words.
Get ready for the test. Don't peek at your list. Begin.
Choose the word that's being defined.
State or say something to let out.
And you're going to notice
Express.
there's only 4 words. So you guys have to do well, because even if you miss 2, you're going to get a 50%. State or say something to let out.
Express.
To conduct oneself in an appropriate manner.
Behave.
behave,
Plumage that birds grow.
So plumage means like what the birds grow on their bodies, and those are called feathers.
Feathers.
Fluttering around, sometimes caused by wind.
Flapping. So what it means by sometimes caused by wind means like a flag might be flapping through the wind because it makes that like flapping noise and that it makes
Flapping.
that sound, and it looks like that going back and forth, up and down, up and down.
You found the correct definition for 4 out of 4 words. That's 100%. Awesome job.
All right, now we're going to go on to grammar mechanics and then our selfie writing. So let's go ahead and go back to grammar and mechanics. And then we're going to move on to our selfie writing. And hopefully we can get through everything before the end of class.
Games.
We're going to go to games, and then you're going to do grammar first, and then we'll do mechanics. Choose another way to write each phrase. A nest where one bird lives. The bird's nest. So it's just one bird. So these are called possessive nouns. When it's just one bird, then you put the apostrophe and then the S. Okay, when it's just one bird.
Excellent work.
A nest where many birds live. Now, if there's many birds, the plural of birds is birds. So because there's multiple birds, you need to put the apostrophe after the S. This shows us that there's more than one bird. This one, because it separates the S, we know that there's just one bird. But this one, because it comes after the S, we know that there's multiple birds.
Fantastic.
So a barn where one cow lives. If there's only one cow, you want to separate that S so we know that there's just one cow.
Fantastic.
If there's three cows, there's more than one cow, then the S has to come first because we want that word together so that we know, okay, there's lots of cows in this barn.
Excellent work.
One goat, you need to separate that S so that it's not a part of goat. So that's just one goat.
Excellent work.
But there's two goats. So we need the plural of goats. We don't want to separate that S so we know that there's more than one.
Fantastic.
The tree where one raccoon lives. So separate the S.
Good job.
There's more than one raccoon, so don't separate the S.
Good job.
There's one pig, so separate the S.
Excellent work.
There's more than one pig, so don't separate the S. Keep the S with the word pigs.
Good job.
The duck's feathers, one duck.
Good job.
There's multiple ducks, so keep the S, the duck's feathers.
Great job.
The chicken's egg, one chicken, so separate the egg.
Great job.
There's a group of chickens, so chickens' eggs. So the S is with the chickens, and then you put the apostrophe at the end of the word.
Good job.
One elephant, so separate the S, T apostrophe.
Excellent
S.
work.
Many elephants, so TS, then the apostrophe.
Great job.
One bat, so BAT apostrophe S.
Excellent work.
Many bats, so BATS, then the apostrophe.
Good job.
The kitten's toy, there's just one kitten.
Good job.
Apostrophe S, and there's multiple kittens. So the S and then the apostrophe comes at the very
Good job.
All right, let's move on to the next one, which is your mechanics activity. Find the errors, select the error, the word that needs to be changed or that needs punctuation after it, then choose the proofreading symbol that will fix the error. One squirrel's family lives in the tree. So it's just one squirrel, so we need to put the apostrophe between the L and the S.
Excellent work.
3 dogs. There's multiple dogs, so then the apostrophe comes after the S.
Excellent work.
There's one dog, so the apostrophe comes before the S.
Good job.
There is one lion, so the apostrophe comes before the S.
Fantastic.
There's many lions, so the apostrophe comes after the S.
Excellent work.
There's one tiger, so the apostrophe comes before the S.
Fantastic.
There's many lions, so the apostrophe goes after the S.
Fantastic.
There's these kittens' bowls need to be washed. So there's multiple kittens, so the apostrophe goes after the S.
Good job.
There's one kitten, so it goes between the N and the S.
Good job.
There's just one family, so in between.
Fantastic.
There's multiple flat families, so after.
Good job.
There's one foot, so in between.
Good job.
There's one hamster, so in between.
Fantastic.
There's my cat's toys are by her bed. So there's one cat.
Fantastic.
Those cats' beds are the attic. So there's multiple cats. How do we know that there's multiple cats? Because it says beds. So there's more than one bed. So that means that there's more than one cat, which means that the apostrophe goes after.
Good job.
All right, guys. Now let's move on to our selfie writing. I know we did that a little bit quickly, but I wanted to make sure we had enough time for everything. Your selfie writing is going to be right here in Google Classroom. If you guys need to review the grammar and mechanics, you guys can watch our video on YouTube again. Or if you need more review, I can also review it again with you guys tomorrow or after class. Just let me know that you guys need a little bit of support, okay? We are going to be moving on to our selfie writing, and today is November 8th. So let's find November 8th. Right here. So this is our slide for November 8th. We are doing it on it looks like a scarecrow. If I were a scarecrow, I would. So first things first, you're going to insert a photo of yourself. So I'm going to click camera. I'm going to make a silly scarecrow face. And then I'm going to use the mask image option and make it a circle. I'm going to double click so that we have those black lines. And then I'm going to make the circle so it's just my face. And then I got to make it bigger so that it fits. There we go. Okay, now if I were a scarecrow, I would. So I'm going to go ahead and write, and I want to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. So I'm going to first make it a little bit bigger so I can read it. And then when we write a paragraph, you have to indent. If I were a scarecrow, I would scare everyone. And then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you guys who I'm going to scare. First, I would scare the birds away, the birds. Next, I would scare the squirrels. Last, I would scare people. And I made it a little too big. Finally, those are all, finally, I would rest after a long day of scaring people. So let's see if I wrote 5 sentences or 4 to 6 sentences, I'm sorry. If I were a scarecrow, I would scare everyone. Sentence 1. First, I would scare the birds. Sentence 2. Next, I would scare the squirrels. Sentence 3. Last, I would scare people. Sentence 4. Finally, I would rest after a long day of scaring people. Sentence 5. So I wrote 5 sentences. I used sequence words, first, next, then, last, finally. I have a beginning, I have an end, and I say what I do. How can I make this better? I could tell you guys where. So if I wanted to make this better, I could say I would scare people in a pumpkin patch. I would scare people in a cornfield. All right. So that's what you guys are going to do for this week. It is already 9:55, so I'm going to let you guys go. If you guys have any questions, you guys can stay and ask them now.